Hi, Sharon Brennan here, Cottage Lane Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Minnesota, and I just wanted to share with you a cute fun fold for graduation card. Neighbor down the hall asked me to make a card for their granddaughter, and I made two different kinds, and this is actually the one that they preferred. And she had some very specific verbiage that she wanted in here. She wanted her granddaughter's name, and the school and the date, so I thought this one would be a perfect one to incorporate that into. So and I was able to print it off in my Word processor or in a Word document using hex codes and RGB values, or one or the other, hex values and RGB codes, and I do have a video on how to do that, so I'll put that link in my blog. And you'll find all the supplies and instructions on how to make this card on my blog also. So sorry, it's been an exhausting day already. So anyway, we're going to put together this card, and I'll show you how I did it. I actually cased this from Frenchy Stamps, and I thought it was a perfect card. So we're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is, I'm going to drop one of my little pieces here on the floor. So this piece of cardstock is 8 by 7 1/4, and just be mindful that this is the 8-inch edge, and we're going to score this at 2 and at 6. So I'm going to score this and get my blade out of the way at 2, and what I do, it's 2 inches on each side, so I just flip it around and score the 2 inches on this side. So, or you can go all the way over. If your paper trimmer goes to 6 inches, you could go there too. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to take our bone folder, and we're going to burnish these score marks. A nice crisp edge. And flip it around. Nice and sharp. Then we're going to put our stripes on here. Now in Frenchie's, she did a 1/2 inch stripe. These are a 1/4 inch, and it's just personal preference. I like the 1/4 inch a little bit better. So we're going to take 2 strips, and I just trimmed off some cardstock, 1/4 inch from like 8 from the end of a piece of cardstock. And nope, not yet. Getting ahead of myself here. And we're going to put some glue on here. And I'm not going to go all the way down to the edge because I'm going to be cutting part of it off. So my silicone mat. Now if I can hold this closed and place this without getting ink all over. So it's about 1/8 inch from the center. And if you do get glue, don't worry about that. I'll show you how to take care of that. So now we're going to glue up the other piece. And place that. Trying to get it the same distance away. Give that a good press. And then I'm just going to take and trim these off. Got the wrong scissors. Trim these off for right along the edges here. I have one scissors I use for ribbon and trim, and the other one I use just for paper. So we have that. Now we have our stripes done. Now we're going to take a ruler and a piece of paper, and a pencil. Oh my gosh, and a piece of paper. And we're going to measure, I'm calling this the top of the card. It could be the bottom too. I'm going to flip it around. And we're going to mark it 1.5 inches. I can zoom in just a smidge. 1.5 inches from on this edge here, sorry. From the top. And then 1.5 inches in from the side. Get it up farther. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So 1.5 inches from the side, 1.5 inches from the top. Put those away. Now we're going to bring our paper trimmer in, and we're going to cut between the two pencil marks, which is going to form the collar of our card. So line the one up here in the track and the one down here in the track, and close it and cut it, and do the same thing on the other side. Line it up down here, line it up down there, and cut it off and just discard that piece. So there we have the robe of our cap and gown. Now we are going to do the hat, and she did hers a little bit differently. She used one of these and adhered it with the tassel with the rhinestone, but I'm going to do 2 pieces, and I'll show you that. Right now we're going to make the tassel. So I found what I thought was an easier way, and we're going to see how it goes. So we're just gonna, this is a piece of chipboard. I'm going to zoom out it a little bit. There. And we're just going to hold this in place. I'm going to give it a little extra on this end. And we're going to wrap this around about 8 or 10 times. And then we're going to cut it off at the bottom down here. I'm going to give myself a little extra. And I found it best if I could kind of sneak this under and tie the knot. Let's see. I can use my little ruler and push it through. So this piece of chipboard is 2 inches by 3 inches, and I'm just going to kind of make a little knot here at the top. Sneak it through that loop there and tie a knot at the top. And hopefully I didn't get it on here too snuggly, so I can slip this off. And I cased this from somebody else too, and I'll have to find the name. I think it was Alley Stamps or something like that, and I'll put it in my blog. So we've got that. Got our knot at the top here. Make sure I have this all nice and copacetic. Now see, I've got one. My little knot is too far up. I just need to tighten it more. These old hands don't work like they used to. There. There. Now the knot is nice and tight. So then we're going to hold it together about 1/4 inch from the top, and we're going to take our baker's twine, and I'm going to leave a nice long end on there so I can tie a knot, and just wrap it around, I don't know, 7 or 8 times. I didn't count. And then keep these 2 guys separate. Cut that off. And then we're going to tie these two strings in a knot. Hopefully it'll lay nice for me. And if you need to, now would be the time if you want to slide it up a little bit. Do it before you tighten this knot. There. And if you can see this, I'm just going to tie a knot again, so it's nice and snug. Then, if I can manage, I'm going to have those two hang down with the tassel. Now I'm going to take my ribbon scissors and cut the loops and then trim the ends off nice and even, hopefully. And get a little bit more even. There's our tassel. Now I like to make a little knot at the top here, about where I want my brad to go. There. I'll trim that off. Now I have my brads, and these are actually retiring, so I don't know, maybe you'll be able to find some in the hobby stores, craft stores. And I'm going to use a white one. And I like these because they have nice long prongs on them. So what I'm going to do is take, I have my little piece of paper still here, yep. So I have a piece of paper that is the same size as the hat top, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I measured just a piece of, this is like a Post-it note, you can do scrap paper. And what I've done is folded it in half and folded it in half again. And you lay it in the corner and it'll give you pretty much the center of your little hat. And you can just mark that with your pencil. Now I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat and use my take your pick tool, poke a hole through there. And take my brad. And so this is where Frenchie actually just held this down with, you know what, I could just do this. Poke it through the hole. But I've got my brad, so this is where she just adhered it with a glue dot or something and then put a rhinestone on top of it. But I am going to use a brad because I think it gives it a nice finished look. And then stick it through my hole. And I want my prongs to be going in this at the angle, the corners. So do that, and then I take my bone folder and give them a good press, and it flattens them out even a little bit more. So there we have our tassel and our hat. Then I take this other piece that's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I cut it in half diagonally. So now we're going to put this, that's the one that's already done. And we also need a piece of scrap, the same color cardstock. It's 2 inches by 1 inch, and I scored it at 1 inch. And this little baby is going to sit right here in the middle. So I'm going to adhere it with some tear and tape. You want a nice strong adhesive, so you could use tear and tape or glue or Stampin' Seal Plus. And I like to actually give them a good rub, and then they're easier to peel. And I find if you bend it just a hair, it's easier to grab hold of it with your nails. So I didn't realize I was doing that until I had a class on Saturday and somebody asked me how I was getting it off, and then I realized, oh, I'm bending it a little bit. So our hat is going to go right on here. So we are going to put some tear and tape right there, or your glue. I just think this works a little bit easier and it's not as messy. So and if you have a hard time peeling it off, you can also take your pick tool and just lift up an edge, catch a corner and lift it up. So that works too. And we're going to take our little cap and line it up from corner to corner. If you can see that. So this corner and this corner are going to line up with this edge here. I can get it centered. Like that. Okay. And then one of these angles is going to go here to cover up this top part here. It just gives this, you don't have to do this, but I think it just gives it a nice finished look to your card. And if you put some on top of that little flap too, it's going to hold it in place too. A couple like double insurance. Peel those off and line these up. Give it a good press. And now I think I need to line it up a little bit better. If I can get it apart. Yeah, I'm going to line it up this way, looking from the front. This is where glue comes in handy. It's a little bit more forgiving when you're trying to slide things around. Trying to line up the points and the sides. There we go. I like that much better. And then I'm going to put this piece here to kind of cover the prong and back. So we're going to put some here, here, and I'll put a piece on the bottom here. So I wasn't being mindful. Usually I try to hide the prongs. I had them going to the wrong corners, so, but this will cover it up too. And there, we have our hat, or cap, or whatever you want to call it. Now, the only thing we have to do to finish our card is the inside, and this is a piece of white cardstock. It is 7 inches by 3 3/4. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I forgot to cut it off at 7, so it was. I just cut off the bottom of a piece of cardstock. So I have to cut off 1.5 inches. And I want to show you a little trick. I'm going to, I think first, well, we'll stamp the sentiments first. So I'm using Gorgeous Grape. And I'm using So Very Proud from So Sincere. And Congratulations from Loveliest Tree. So, just going to ink these up. And these are red rubber, so you only want to dab it a couple times and make sure you don't have anything on the edges. And then you're going to go straight down and straight up. Don't rock, just go straight down, straight up. And the same with the So Very Proud. Now there's a lot of ink along there. I don't want to accidentally rock my stamp, because it happens. No matter how long you've been doing it, it happens. Straight down and straight up. Now I have this little cap, if I can find it. Oh, I know what I did with it. So I just got ink on my card. So we just turn it over. I'm going to clean my fingers off. So just tap, tap, tap. Straight down, straight up. Tap, tap, tap. There. So now I want to put this little hat in the bottom, but I'm going to emboss it with clear embossing powder, so it gives kind of a shiny texture. You don't have to do that, but I just think it steps it up just a smidge. So I'm going to put away this pad, and I am going to use my Stamparatus. I'm sorry, it's retired. It was due to a copyright issue apparently, or something like that. I don't know. It was a legal thing. That's all I know. So if you have a Misty or some other stamping platform like that, you can do this, or you can just skip this part if you want. So I've already placed, I'm going to place this where I want it, right here. Press down, and I'm going to use my little stamping spot from a paper pumpkin kit. So we do sell blank ones or uninked ones, whatever you want to call it. And if you want to buy a package of those, I think there's 6 in a package. And then you can buy re-inkers and make your own little stamping spots or ink spots. Stampin' spots, that's what they call them. So I stamp it. I'm going to do it one more time just to give it a nice darker image. Another thing for your Stampin' Spots, store them upside down. That's why I have the name on the bottom. Our ink pads, when you close them up, they are stored so that the ink pad is at the top. So you don't have to do that with our full-size pads. But with the Stampin' Spots, I always, and any of my other ink, like my Versamark, I'll store that upside down too. Keeps the ink towards the top or the surface of your pad. So now we're going to clean this off. And I don't have to be too careful, except for I don't want to get ink on my Versamark stamp pad. So I have Versamark, and we are going to, oops, I forgot to do one thing. With heat embossing, you want to use like your embossing buddy, and we have these come in a set with the tray. I've had mine for years, so it's not Stampin' Up. But this will take any residual, or you won't leave any residual embossing powder on your item. So we're going to take this off of here, and I'm just going to put some in the corner. This stuff lasts for years, years and years. I have several, you know, I use gold and silver a lot. I've been using it for at least 6 or 7 years, and I still have a lot left. So, put that away. Now I'm gonna put this out of the way because we're done with that. Now I'm going to use my heat gun, and I like to heat it up a little bit before I use it. I also keep a clothespin on the cord to hold my cardstock. So we're going to heat it up, and it seems to me that it melts faster after the gun is heated up for a little bit. So here we go. See if you can see it melt. Apparently I didn't get enough Versamark on there or something because it's not shiny. Well, let's try something else. I'll try and line it up again. Maybe I was talking too much and just didn't even notice I didn't have it there. Notice I hadn't put any on there. So, line this up again. And where's my Versamark? Ink it up again. Try this once more with feeling. There, now I can see that the ink is there. Okay. I wasn't paying attention apparently. There, now I can see the powder is there. This away. And now we'll heat it up again a little bit. And now, instantly, you can see it is done. You see that shiny on there? I just think it gives a little bit more finished look. So we're gonna wipe that off a little bit. I have a little bit of embossing powder on my desk. So, and then we're gonna take our card base and make sure we get the right side, the correct side I should say, and put some Stampin' Seal on there. And now this will cover that little tab at the top. And then I'm just centering it from side to side. So there is our card. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll just let you know that if you need any of the products from Stampin' Up, this is the QR code for my website, which is also sharonbrennan.stampinup.net. You can just scan this with your camera and it'll open up in your phone. This is my blog as well as an online store, so some of these cards will be going in my online store, and that is cottageLaneStamper.com. This is my events calendar, and if you'd like to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, that's a QR code for that. So, and I also have a Facebook page that you're welcome to join, Cottage Lane Stamper and Friends with the ampersand. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for spending some time with me. Oh, and I was going to show you if you had a little glue on here. I forgot about that. I don't think there is any, but you can use a, this is called an adhesive eraser, and you can just run it along the side and it'll take care of any excess glue you might have. So anyway, just a final tip. Thank you so much for joining me. please subscribe, like, and share too. I appreciate everybody that does that. So you can find me on my YouTube channel also. So thank you so much. Take care, and may God bless. Bye.